aside from the many important discussions on reducing inequalities and capitalizing upon the true potential of the AFCFTA, I also read and heard that there was some justifiably provocative insights, including from some of the speakers, such as Sisofani Malunga, who said, there are important political economy constraints on the continent that can inhibit gains from AFCFTA, such as monopolies in service suppliers and economic elitism. He said the political economy context must be understood. So our discussions on inclusive economic growth must really go beyond the macroeconomic indicators and take careful note of what the public experiences on a day-to-day basis. Now, with digital technology, we can achieve a lot. Even though for some of us, myself included, I often feel a bit lost and a bit overwhelmed with technology and social media. The UN family, including the Economic Commission for Africa, we are at the service of member states to support our development agenda. The UN is your organization. It's a member state organization. Please consider this organization as your extended family. As countries in this region progress, any quest for achieving higher income status needs to be coupled with more inclusive forms of growth and development. This means tapping into multiple areas of potential growth, especially those which are labor-intensive. In effect, labor-intensive industries will lead to a greater proportion of the population meaningfully contributing to transformation of the economy and also allow them to benefit from that transformation.
The purpose of this meeting is to pursue 3 interrelated objectives, which are, of course, to deliberate on statutory matters. The second objective is to provide, of course, a high-level platform to deliberate on the theme. And I think the theme is quite timely, as we all know. Third objective is to consider and endorse the main issues arising, but also the recommendations of the 3 interrelated ad hoc expert group meetings which preceded this meeting. I think the pursuit of inclusive development, which seeks development processes that benefit all and leaves no one behind, will ensure an equitable distribution of wealth and social services such as health, education, employment, housing and infrastructure, amongst others, enhancing per capita incomes through higher levels of economic growth and improving overall well-being, driven by the deliberate state policies and action, is imperative in the pursuit of inclusive and sustainable development. As the Economic Commission for Africa, we are thrilled to welcome you all to the 29th ICSOE session and committing to providing our member states with the technical support as you gear up to harness the opportunities presented by the AFCFTA, navigate and build on REC AFCFTAs, and also harness technology and innovation for private sector and value chains development.
The AFCFTA has been soundly embraced by our individual member states through signing on to and ratification of this continental trade agreement. Indeed, the AFCFTA gives us hope that we will reach our sustainable industrialization goals, and through expanded manufacturing and deeper trading within and beyond the continent, we will make a positive dent on poverty and inequality. SADC has adopted the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2020-2030, and we are in collaboration with our good all-weather friends, the ECA, and our partners, and we are happy to be at this occasion. This is a comprehensive 10-year strategic roadmap with the objective to deepen regional integration agenda with a view to accelerate poverty eradication and attainment of economic and non-economic development goals. We as SADC are committed to implement all the strands that are captured in this year's ICSOE theme. In doing so, we will continue to work hand in hand with all like-minded partners to achieve our socio-economic development goals and to finally end poverty and inequality in our region.
As Southern Africa region continues to face food deficits, the promotion of regional food trade and regional value chains remains critical. However, we must take cognizance of the key drivers to regional food trade, such as ability to comply with sanitary and phytosanitary measures, as well as other technical requirements. Non-compliance to these requirements hinders access to safe foods and good quality products. In promoting regional value chains, it is therefore important that we build on the existing national and regional value chains, and to be able to climb up higher segments of value chains production to boost competitiveness through production and export of higher value products. Well-established regional value chains will also offer opportunities for countries in the region to link gainfully into continental value chains and increase members' bargaining powers with external lead firms. In addition, in the bid to overcome challenges arising from multiplicity of membership to various regional economic communities, COMESA remains committed and plays an active role in fostering continental integration through implementation of the tripartite free trade area regime. Indeed, several tripartite FTA instruments have been adopted at the SCFTA level, including but not limited to the rules of origin, the tariff liberalization offers, as well as the online NTB reporting system.
If we are to succeed in leveraging the AFCFTA for poverty and inequality reduction in Southern Africa, we need to keep in mind that it cannot be business as usual. Because how can we effectively deal with poverty eradication and inequality if we do not give the youth and women of Africa their rightful place in societies across Africa, and if we continue to treat women as lesser beings than men? Cognizant of the challenges mentioned above, the African Union produced Agenda 2063 in 2013 as the blueprint for Africa's transformation into a future global powerhouse, and adopted the AFCFTA as a flagship project of Agenda 2063 within the nexus of the Africa we want. This flagship project is aimed at creating a single African market for goods and services. The AFCFTA is an important catalyst for supporting economic integration and for building prosperity, and thus for contributing to the social development agenda in Africa. In fact, according to the World Bank Report 2020, the AFCFTA agreement represents a major opportunity for countries to boost growth, reduce poverty, and broaden economic inclusion. The agreement is also expected to increase Africa's exports by $560 billion, mostly in manufacturing, and raise income by $450 billion by 2035, while adding $76 billion to the income of the rest of the world and boost wages for both skilled and unskilled workers.
Our collective
poverty and inequality are the greatest challenges that our region faces. If we look at the latest data from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, on multidimensional poverty in the region, measured by the percentage of the population living in multidimensional poverty, we find that the rates are high. It ranges from 51% in Angola, 17.2% in Botswana, 19.2% in Eswatini, 19.6% in Lesotho, 49.9% in Malawi, 61.9% in Mozambique, 40.9% in Namibia, 47.9% in Zambia, and 25.8% in Zimbabwe. Data are not available for Mauritius and South Africa. The average for sub-Saharan Africa is a high 49.5%, when it stands at only 5.1% in East Asia and the Pacific, 5.6% in Latin America and the Caribbean, and 20.5% in South Asia.
efforts towards diversification of exports through value addition, especially in the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area, remains imperative. Therefore, boosting intra-Africa trade through the AFCFTA will generate immense benefits for our regional economies. Furthermore, access to technology is critical for productivity gains and competitiveness, as higher productivity leads to growth, which in turn leads to higher wages and improved welfare, thus lowering levels of poverty and extinguishing anguish. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly delighted that for your deliberations, the Secretariat has proposed an agenda which builds on the work of the 28th ICSOE on exploring the benefits of deeper regional integration through the AFCFTA, through industrialization, regional integration, and value chains development. The gravity of the challenges of poverty and inequality in our region are well documented. You are aware that Southern Africa is the most unequal region in the world, and the gap between the rich and the poor in our countries continues to widen, despite all the efforts to support economic activity focused on addressing the inequality and poverty gaps. Through the collaborative efforts of governments and the private sector, supporting innovation and technology, development can lift Southern Africa out of the poverty known for, particularly through capacitating our micro, small and medium enterprises, our youth, and our women-owned businesses. However, this should be preceded by the creation of an enabling environment for doing business and investment.